Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Press, drive, or impel someone to action or completion of an action. He pushed her to finish her doctorate. The act of applying force in order to move something away. He gave the door a hard push. Make strenuous pushing movements during birth to expel the baby. Now push hard, said the doctor to the woman. An electrical switch operated by pressing. The elevator was operated by push buttons. Move with force. He pushed the table into a corner. Strive and make an effort to reach a goal. We have to push a little to make the deadline. Make publicity for, try to sell, a product. The salesman is aggressively pushing the new computer model. Approach a certain age or speed. She is pushing 50. The force used in pushing. The push of the water on the walls of the tank. Exert oneself continuously, vigorously, or obtrusively to gain an end or engage in a crusade for a certain cause or person. Be an advocate for. The Liberal Party pushed for reforms. Enterprising or ambitious drive. An effort to advance. The army made a push toward the sea. Move strenuously and with effort. The crowd pushed forward. Press against forcefully without moving. She pushed against the wall with all her strength. Sell or promote the sale of illegal goods such as drugs. The guy hanging around the school is pushing drugs. Press, drive, or impel someone to action or completion of an action. Be relevant to. Have an effect upon. Keep or maintain in unaltered condition. Cause to remain or last. The act of applying force in order to move something away. The pushing is good exercise. A dense crowd of people. To be oppressive or burdensome. Something pressed on his mind. The print media responsible for gathering and publishing news in the form of newspapers or magazines. The act of pressing, the exertion of pressure. He gave the button a press. Make strenuous pushing movements during birth to expel the baby. The state of demanding notice or attention. The press of business matters. A tall piece of furniture that provides storage space for clothes, has a door and rails or hooks for hanging clothes. A machine used for printing. Lift weights. This guy can press 300 pounds. Force or impel in an indicated direction. Squeeze or press together. She compressed her lips. A weight lift in which the barbell is lifted to shoulder height and then smoothly lifted overhead. Press and smooth with a heated iron. Press your shirts. Exert oneself continuously, vigorously, or obtrusively to gain an end or engage in a crusade for a certain cause or person. Be an advocate for. Press from a plastic. Press a record. Any machine that exerts pressure to form or shape or cut materials or extract liquids or compress solids. Ask for or request earnestly. Be urgent. This is a pressing problem. Clamp to prevent wooden rackets from warping when not in use. Create by pressing. Crowd closely. The crowds pressed along the street. Exert pressure or force to or upon. He pressed down on the boards. Place between two surfaces and apply weight or pressure. Pressed flowers. A device that when pressed will release part of a mechanism. An electrical switch operated by pressing. The elevator was operated by push buttons. A female sexual organ homologous to the penis. Any artifact that resembles a button. Any of various plant parts that resemble buttons. A round fastener sewn to shirts and coats, etc. to fit through buttonholes. A round flat badge displaying information and suitable for pinning onto a garment. They passed out campaign buttons for their candidate. Fasten with buttons. Button the dress. Provide with buttons. Button a shirt. An electrical switch operated by pressing. The elevator was operated by push buttons. Of a law, having legal validity. Group of people willing to obey orders. A public force is necessary to give security to the rights of citizens. Physical energy or intensity. He hit with all the force he could muster. A put-out of a base runner who is required to run. The put-out is accomplished by holding the ball while touching the base to which the runner must advance before the runner reaches that base. The shortstop got the runner at second on a force. To cause to do through pressure or necessity, by physical, moral or intellectual means. She forced him to take a job in the city. Force into or from an action or state, either physically or metaphorically. Urge or force, a person, to an action, constrain or motivate. Move with force. Impose urgently, importunately, or inexorably. She forced her diet fads on him. Squeeze like a wedge into a tight space. A unit that is part of some military service. He sent Caesar a force of 6,000 men. One possessing or exercising power or influence or authority. May the force be with you. An act of aggression, as one against a person who resists. He may accomplish by craft in the long run what he cannot do by force and violence in the short one. Take by force. A group of people having the power of effective action. He joined forces with a band of adventurers. A powerful effect or influence. The force of his eloquence easily persuaded them. Do forcibly, exert force. Don't force it. Physics, the influence that produces a change in a physical quantity. Force equals mass times acceleration. Hitting a golf ball off of a tee with a driver. He sliced his drive out of bounds. The act of applying force to propel something. After reaching the desired velocity, the drive is cut off. A journey in a vehicle, usually an automobile. He took the family for a drive in his new car. Force into or from an action or state, either physically or metaphorically. He drives me mad. Have certain properties when driven. My new truck drives well. Move into a desired direction of discourse. A road leading up to a private house. They parked in the driveway. Cause to move back by force or influence. Strive and make an effort to reach a goal. A series of actions advancing a principle or tending toward a particular end. The team was ready for a drive toward the pennant. A wide scenic road planted with trees. The Riverside Drive offers many exciting scenic views. Travel or be transported in a vehicle. Proceed along in a vehicle. We drive the turnpike to work. A mechanism by which force or power is transmitted in a machine. A variable speed drive permitted operation through a range of speeds. A physiological state corresponding to a strong need or desire. Cause someone or something to move by driving. Cause to function by supplying the force or power for or by controlling. The amplifier drives the tube. Cause to move rapidly by striking or throwing with force. Drive the ball far out into the field. Compel somebody to do something, often against his own will or judgment. Computer science. A device that writes data onto or reads data from a storage medium. Excavate horizontally. Drive a tunnel. Hit very hard, as by swinging a bat horizontally. Drive a ball. Hunting. Chase from cover into more open ground. Drive the game. Hunting. Search for game. Drive the forest. Move by being propelled by a force. Operate or control a vehicle. Drive a car or bus. Push, propel, or press with force. Sports. A hard straight return, as in tennis or squash. Strike with a driver, as in teeing off. Drive a golf ball. The act of driving a herd of animals overland. The trait of being highly motivated. His drive and energy exhausted his coworkers. To compel or force or urge relentlessly or exert coercive pressure on, or motivate strongly. She is driven by her passion. Urge forward. Drive the cows into the barn. Work as a driver. He drives a bread truck. A social class comprising those who do manual labor or work for wages. There is a shortage of skilled labor in this field. Any piece of work that is undertaken or attempted. The federal department responsible for promoting the working conditions of wage earners in the United States, created in 1913. Concluding state of pregnancy. From the onset of contractions to the birth of a child. She was in labor for 6 hours. An organized attempt by workers to improve their status by united action, particularly via labor unions, or the leaders of this movement. Strive and make an effort to reach a goal. A political party formed in Great Britain in 1900, characterized by the promotion of labor's interests and formerly the socialization of key industries. Productive work, especially physical work done for wages. His labor did not require a great deal of skill. Work hard. Undergo the efforts of childbirth. A social class comprising those who do manual labor or work for wages. Concluding state of pregnancy. From the onset of contractions to the birth of a child. Strive and make an effort to reach a goal. A political party formed in Great Britain in 1900, characterized by the promotion of labor's interests and formerly the socialization of key industries. productive work, especially physical work done for wages. Work hard. Undergo the efforts of childbirth. A sudden abrupt pull. A powerful small boat designed to pull or push larger ships. Carry with difficulty. Strive and make an effort to reach a goal. She tugged for years to make a decent living. Move by pulling hard. The horse finally tugged the cart out of the mud. Pull hard. The prisoner tugged at the chains. Pull or strain hard at. Each oar was tugged by several men. Struggle in opposition. She tugged and wrestled with her conflicts. Tow, a vessel, with a tug. The tugboat tugged the freighter into the harbor. Call attention to. Please don't advertise the fact that he has AIDS. Make publicity for. Try to sell a product. Call attention to. Make publicity for. Try to sell a product. Give a promotion to or assign to a higher position. I got promoted after many years of hard work. Make publicity for. Try to sell a product. Contribute to the progress or growth of. Be changed for a superior chess or checker piece. Change a pawn for a better piece by advancing it to the 8th row, or change a checker piece for a more valuable piece by moving it to the row closest to your opponent. An informal body of friends. He still hangs out with the same crowd. To gather together in large numbers. Men in straw boaters and waxed mustaches crowded the veranda. Cause to herd, drive, or crowd together. Approach a certain age or speed. A large number of things or people considered together. A crowd of insects assembled around the flowers. Fill or occupy to the point of overflowing. The students crowded the auditorium. The act of applying force to propel something. Push upward. The front of the trains that had collided head-on thrust up into the air. Penetrate or cut through with a sharp instrument. Make a thrusting forward movement. Impose urgently, importunately, or inexorably. A strong blow with a knife or other sharp-pointed instrument. Place or put with great energy. Thrust the money in the hands of the beggar. The force used in pushing. The thrust of the jet engines. Press or force. She thrust the letter into his hand. A sharp hand gesture, resembling a blow. He made a thrusting motion with his fist. Force, molten rock, into pre-existing rock. Push forcefully. He thrust his chin forward. Verbal criticism. He enlivened his editorials with barbed thrusts at politicians. Change the arrangement or position of. Move or cause to move back and forth. Cause to be agitated, excited, or roused. Try to stir up public opinion. Exert oneself continuously, vigorously, or obtrusively to gain an end or engage in a crusade for a certain cause or person. Be an advocate for. Move very slightly. Several related operations aimed at achieving a particular goal, usually within geographical and temporal constraints. Go on a campaign. Go off to war. Run, stand, or compete for an office or a position. A race between candidates for elective office. I managed his campaign for governor. An overland journey by hunters, especially in Africa. Exert oneself continuously, vigorously, or obtrusively to gain an end or engage in a crusade for a certain cause or person. Be an advocate for. A series of actions advancing a principle or tending toward a particular end. He supported populist campaigns. Exert oneself continuously, vigorously, or obtrusively to gain an end or engage in a crusade for a certain cause or person. Be an advocate for. A series of actions advancing a principle or tending toward a particular end. Any of the more or less continuous military expeditions in the 11th to 13th centuries when Christian powers of Europe tried to recapture the Holy Land from the Muslims. Go on a crusade. Fight a holy war. Be engaged in a fight. Carry on a fight. Siblings are always fighting. A hostile meeting of opposing military forces in the course of a war. Make a strenuous or labored effort. The act of fighting. Any contest or struggle. A fight broke out at the hockey game. Exert oneself continuously, vigorously, or obtrusively to gain an end or engage in a crusade for a certain cause or person. Be an advocate for. Fight against or resist strongly. Don't fight it. An aggressive willingness to compete. The team was full of fight. A boxing or wrestling match. The fight was on television last night. An intense verbal dispute. A violent fight over the bill is expected in the Senate. Physics. A thermodynamic quantity equivalent to the capacity of a physical system to do work. The units of energy are joules or ERGs. Energy can take a wide variety of forms. An imaginative, lively style, especially style of writing. His writing conveys great energy. A healthy capacity for vigorous activity. Jogging works off my excess energy. The federal department responsible for maintaining a national energy policy of the United States, created in 1977. Forceful exertion. He plays tennis with great energy. Enterprising or ambitious drive. Europeans often laugh at American energy. Any source of usable power. The DOE is responsible for maintaining the energy policy. Enterprising or ambitious drive. Continue moving forward. Force or impel in an indicated direction. Spur on or encourage, especially by cheers and shouts. Force or impel in an indicated direction. Spur on or encourage, especially by cheers and shouts. An instinctive motive. Force or impel in an indicated direction. I urged him to finish his studies. Push for something. Spur on or encourage, especially by cheers and shouts. A strong restless desire. Why this urge to travel? The act of propelling. A propelling force. The act of propelling. Control consisting of a mechanical or electrical or electronic device for making or breaking or changing the connections in a circuit. Control consisting of a mechanical or electrical or electronic device for making or breaking or changing the connections in a circuit. Lay aside, abandon, or leave for another. Switch to a different brand of beer. Control consisting of a mechanical or electrical or electronic device for making or breaking or changing the connections in a circuit. Reverse, a direction, attitude, or course of action. Cause to go on or to be engaged or set in operation. Switch on the light. The act of changing one thing or position for another. His switch on abortion cost him the election. An event in which one thing is substituted for another. Make a shift to in or exchange of. First Joe led, then we switched. Exchange or give something in exchange for. Change over, change around, as to a new order or sequence. A basketball maneuver. Two defensive players shift assignments so that each guards the player usually guarded by the other. A flexible implement used as an instrument of punishment. Flog with or as if with a flexible rod. Hairpiece consisting of a tress of false hair, used by women to give shape to a coiffure. Railroad track having two movable rails and necessary connections, used to turn a train from one track to another or to store rolling stock.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.